Back already? You don't waste much time, do you, Elf?
My mission is an urgent one. If the Harbinger is in Prague, she must be found.
Othrim Redax and his cultists worship Khorne. The Blood God hates sorcerers.
Where did you learn such a thing?
This is Kislev, witch hunter. We get it with our mother's milk. Every year the Norskins raid us from across the Sea of Claws. Unlike you Southerners, we can't afford to be ignorant of our foes.
Knowledge is the first step on the path to corruption.
This has less to do with sorcery and more to do with power. The Harbinger is searching for a new champion to lead the armies of chaos.
Then she's at the Tower of Skulls. That's Othgrim's stronghold inside the city.
Very well. How do we reach the tower?
You don't. Not without an army. The tower is built on the ruins of the old citadel, and it's surrounded by monsters.
My people believe that courage and skill count for more than numbers. A small, determined force could slip past Redax's minions. You know the city, Leonid Gorchev. There must be a way.
I don't know. Perhaps. Let me think on it. In the meantime, there is a favor I would ask of you.
This is outrageous. We don't have time for this.
What is it?
When Othgrim and his warband returned to Prague, we had no warning. They surrounded our camp in the old town, trapping most of our people inside. One of them was my son, Arkady.
That was more than a month ago. Surely they are dead by now.
Some of them might have escaped before it was too late. They could be hiding somewhere in the city. There was a woman named Galina who was keeping a journal about life in the camp. If an escape were planned, she would have written about it.
That journal could be anywhere.
No. One of Red Axe's men has it. He must have taken it as a trophy after they've overrun the camp. I can tell you where he is, if you could get the journal back. Please. I need to know what happened to my son.
I do not see what good it will do, but if there is anything to be found, I will bring it back to you. Is this the book you were looking for?
Yes, that's Galina's journal. I'd know it anywhere. Now we'll learn what happened to Arkady and the others. I'm sure of it. I need to find someone who can read this. Thank you. We will speak again soon. Galina said he fought the cultists day and night. They killed his mother, you see, when the city fell. He hated them with all his heart. In the end, he and a few others stayed behind to buy time for the rest to get away.
Then you have your answer. He most likely died in the tunnels fighting the cultists.
Don't talk like that. We don't know he's dead. He might have escaped just like the others.
You expect me to believe your son held off an entire war band of chaos cultists and then slipped away like a ghost? That's ridiculous.
Go to the Garden of Ursun. That's where Galina said they were headed. See if anyone made it out alive. Please, I have to know. Arkady, he was all I had left in the world. You understand, don't you?
Very well, human. If this will convince you, then so be it. You were right, Leonid. Much to my surprise, Galina and a few others escaped the camp and took refuge in Ursun's garden. They survived there for nearly a month before the cultists found them again.
Oh no.
I found some papers hidden behind the altar stone. Perhaps they will provide the answers you seek.
What about Arkady? Was he...
He wasn't there. As I told you before, it's highly unlikely he survived the attack on the camp. As for Galina and the others, there were few bodies left behind. I suppose the cultists must have carried them off.
I have nothing left now. Red Axe and his monsters have taken everything. My home, my wife, now my son. They owe me a debt of blood, and by Urson, they will pay it. I will find someone to read the papers for me. Perhaps Arcadia is mentioned in them. Thank you. We will speak again soon. Galina's papers tell a grim tale. After Arcadia and his comrades sacrificed themselves, the others reached the Garden of Urson and barricaded themselves within. They hid there for weeks. When the food ran out, they crept out at night to search the ruins for supplies. Perhaps that's how the cultists found them. They attacked without warning, throwing themselves against the barricades again and again. Galina and the others fought back with everything they had, and for days the defenses held. But then a new enemy appeared. A faceless savage the cultist called the Blood-born. It was he who broke through the barricades and desecrated Urson's sacred garden.
A bad end, but a predictable one. There was nothing you could have done.
But now there is. Now we can avenge them. I know where the Blood-born's camp is. We saw it while searching for supplies just a few days before you arrived.
You want to attack the camp?
I must. They must pay for what they've done. With your help, we can take them by surprise and slaughter them.
My help? Now look here, Gorchev, you said...
I know what I said. That was before I learned about Arcadia. Now are you with me or not?
Very well. I'll help. But you owe me, Leonid Gorchev. Remember that.
Look here! A gift of flesh from Almighty Korn! Kill the weak and save the rest for the fighting pits! Blood for the blood god!
Where is he? Where is the Blood-born?
There's no sign of him.
Impossible. This is his camp. He's got to be hiding somewhere.
A Korn berserker hiding from battle. Don't be a fool, Gorchev.
One of the cultists mentioned fighting pits. Do you know what he was referring to?
They built them in the ruins near the merchant's quarter. Men die there every day for the glory of the blood god.
Men provided by the Blood-born and his war band.
Then that is where you must strike next. Hunt this monster down and destroy him wherever he hides. Do this, and I will be forever in your debt. There is no time to waste. You must strike now, before the Blood-born realizes you've raided his camp.
This is a mistake. Think, Gorchev. We have no idea what might be waiting in those fighting pits. For all we know, it could be a trap.
Bah. If you move quickly, you will have the element of surprise. That's all you need.
The situation might be more complicated than either of you realize. Palantir, you said there were fewer bodies at the Garden of Urson than there should have been.
Of course. The Blood-born didn't kill the survivors. He took them to the fighting pits instead.
That was weeks ago. The Norskans would have killed them by now.
Nonetheless, I must still check the cages to be sure. Is that not so, Leonid?
What's the point? You want to make a difference? Kill the Blood-born. Nothing else matters.
Impudent worm! Only the mightiest warriors are worthy to enter Korn's sacred arena! You will pay for your insolence in blood!
Help us, please. Please, before it's too late. Urson's blessings upon you. We owe you our lives. Thank you, stranger. Thank you.
Go! Quickly!
This worm seeks to deny us our sport! Tear his flesh, crush his bones! Blood for the blood god!
Knowledge is power.
Even in death, you are beneath me. Even in death, you are beneath me. How dare you, you abomination! Perfection requires patience.
Knowledge is power.
Perfection requires patience. Perfection requires patience.
Knowledge is power.
Enough! Gorchev has his people back. That will have to satisfy him. If I stay here much longer, the Blood-born will bring half the city down on me.
Well, is he dead? Or was all that for nothing?
I escaped the Blood-born's trap and rescued your people from the fighting pits. And you call that nothing?
Why should it matter? Red Axe still rules Prague. The Blood-born and his minions will keep hunting for victims to fill the fighting pits. As long as they live, all we can do is suffer. Blood calls for blood. We must slaughter them all.
Do not let your hatred consume you, lest you become a servant of Khorne yourself.
How dare you? You think me no different than some murdering barbarian? A monster that bathes in blood and worships demons?
Better men than you have sworn themselves to chaos, Leonid Gorchev. Remember that.
It is an offense against the gods to harm a guest in one's home. Leave me, before I do something I might later regret. I've spoken with the survivors you rescued. You should hear the stories they tell. They were starved, tortured, made to fight in the pits. The Blood-born thought he could corrupt them. We should have killed that monster when we had the chance.
Then your people would still be in cages. Where is the justice in that?
Don't talk to me about justice, Elf. I want justice for my wife and son. I want the Blood-born's head on a spike. And Elantir is going to get it for me.
You're mad.
What if I am? You want my help to get Red Axe? You want me to help you save your precious empire? Then bring me the Blood-born's head.
You're a fool, Gorchev. Attacking the fighting pits again would be suicide.
There is another way. I know how we can draw the Blood-born out and deal with him alone.
How?
There is a part of the city near the fighting pits where the Blood-born has piled the skulls of his victims as offerings to Khorne. If you were to destroy them, he would have to challenge you himself, or suffer the wrath of his god.
So be it, human. You shall have your revenge. But mark me, it will bring you no peace.
You were lucky to escape me last time, weakling. Now you will pay for what you've done. Blood for the blood god!
Is it done?
As you commanded. The Blood-born is dead.
Show me. I want to see the monster's face for myself. Oh, no, no. This can't be. You've made a mistake, Elentir. A terrible, terrible mistake.
I made no mistake, human. You demanded the Blood-born's head, and here it is.
It can't be. That's Arcady. That's my son.
What?
Isn't it obvious? Red Axe's men captured him and took him to the fighting pits. There, his bloodlust consumed him, and he became a servant of Khorne.
You see, Leonid Gorchev, even those who have the most reason to hate the Chaos Gods can still fall under their sway. Beware, lest you suffer the same fate.
Enough, for pity's sake! You've said your piece. Now leave me to my grief. Ursun's teeth! Leave me alone! Can't you see I'm in mourning?
I have no time for your grief, human. You brought this on yourself. I have done everything you required of me. Now you must do your part. Tell me how to get to Red Axe.
Have you learned nothing since you got here? Prague is cursed! If you go after Red Axe, you'll end up just like Arcady!
We ASUS have been fighting the forces of chaos for millennia, human. We do not yield to their temptations. Now tell me, how do I get into the Tower of Skulls?
I told you before, you can't. You have to draw Red Axe out, just like you did to the Blood-born.
How?
How else? Othgrim Red Axe is a champion of Khorne. If you were to challenge him to single combat, he would have to accept, or else his warriors would think him weak.
That's it? Just go to the tower and challenge Red Axe to a duel?
If you could make it there without getting cut to pieces, you'll be fighting cultists and worse every step of the way.
Of course. Anything else I need to know?
Just this. The challenge requires an offering. The skull of a mighty foe, to join the others piled upon the shrine. Take this. Give my son's death meaning, and drive these monsters from Prague.